allow the children
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. This man not the off in mind, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. Aha. Now him una don hear all these bad politicians, them we call themselves politicians. Where they thief our money, we no want make the common man get wetin him suppose get for this country. Una never hear something. Now go hear one. Maiyegun, you go show una paper. Maiyegun diary political. So my people make you shout, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo. My people make we loud, oh, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo.
Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And maybe good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Brunch Time with Maiyegun live. And thank you so much for joining me. I bet some of you are in your breakfast right now, like either getting ready for work or you're already at work. And we have those who are currently like leaving work right now, maybe, but it doesn't matter. So we call this program, we call it Brunch Time. And it is, of course, a phone-in program, which is like an open mic, where a particular topic, as you can read the caption of the broadcast, and a little bit of description as well. So it is an open mic this afternoon, tackling the emerging and growing, campaign of hatred, which is politically motivated to start with. So we are taking stock of those who have this mixed parentage, especially, right? Because, we have this, this major politically sponsored sort of a bigotry, yeah, and it is always for whenever their election is, is coming, or whenever they have an election, right? So which is that of a Yoruba Igbo. But in this whole kind of like situation, right? So we have received personal experiences of people, right, whose parents are of a mixed background, like ethnic nationalities, right, or tribes, in which they have been so discriminated against that there's been a particular time in their life that they came to that reality that, oh, hang on, I can't really claim I am this because my mom is from this side or my dad is from this side. Okay, right? I can't claim this because these people continue to remind me that you know what, you are not us. I mean, you're not among us, so you're not from us, right? So they have coined a word they call the tainted blood. Okay, tainted blood is what they call the people whose parent. And when I use this word, I am very, very like mindful of those who brought it to life. And these are the Tifnumbu, APC, Egbekebe, Ronukus, especially the Ronukus who are hiding behind what they call the Yoruba conservative nonsense, right? But it's purely for Tifnumbu, that is a Koolu. Because if it is about the Yoruba conservativeness, right, which means, like they say, Yoruba first, okay? So you would have seen them up in arms right now, right? Number one, against the Fulani terrorists in Yoruba land, who continue, by the way, they continue to ravage the land. As much as we are having the media blackouts, right, which is also intentional, okay? So this group of, bastards in Yoruba land call themselves the Ronukus. They pretend to care so much about Yoruba people or Yoruba land, and then to preserve Yoruba land and Yoruba people, right? But they are up in arms, right, against especially the Igbos, okay? And then they categorized, other people, I mean, other tribes in Nigeria as, if you have your parents mixed up with them, definitely you are not a full-blooded Yoruba, so you are a tainted blood. So like I said, these are bastards in Yoruba land. They are, whether young or old, okay? So we have history. We have history of these hateful souls, right? In our land and almost everywhere too, right? But I am talking about the Yoruba ones now, right? So we have these hateful souls who have somehow succeeded politically, right? To pass down this hatred, which is, like I said, politically motivated. So while every one of them is pushing out different hateful agenda, this and that, right? There are consequences, okay? So consequences in the sense that when people are beginning to actually like tell themselves now that, think about your children's future. Don't go and get, into any relationship with any other tribe apart from yours, so that in the future, right? May they no class your children as second class, third class, or fourth class, or worthless, that they can't become anything, because that is, kind of like where the politics of APC will take everybody eventually, right? So we decided that maybe others have been sharing their personal stories too, right? Like there's always that moment of truth, innocent you. Your mama na Igbo, your papa na Yoruba, right? Or your mama na Ebira, your papa na maybe Hausa. I'm using all these mixed together now, right? Because they exist. All we have to do is to ask them, how has it been? Like, have you ever, for any reason, been discriminated against? Or was there any time that you came to the reality that, I think I am not really part of these people, even though my mom is here or my dad is from here, I don't think I am part of these people. You see, part of the hateful messages they are spreading, this Ronuku mofos, right, is that they consider, especially the Igbos, they consider the Igbos as people who are coming to take over their land. Unfortunately, right, these are wretched of the wretched. Okay, I'm talking about the bottom barrel sewage dwellers who are inconsequential for real, right? But somehow they have introduced, violence to this hatred, which means if they can't have their way, they will go violent ways, and they do have the backing of some of those who are supposed to be their leaders, who are also bigoted people. They have their backing to push the narrative of this, they are coming to take over our land. Meanwhile, the real people who are taking our people hostage, paying ransom to them, they are not really bothered. Now, for example, right, there was a gathering where one of them shared this thought.
So, Yoruba, we should stop complaining because we need to protest. We need to come out and protest. Igbo are disrespecting our institution. They disrespect our traditional ruler. They disrespect all our headers, and they can't take it in their own space. Therefore, we must not fold our hand. I just have to tell everybody this: this protest, Igbo must go, and the scrap of a unitary system is a must, and it's coming, and it's going to be loud. It's going to, whoever that want to die should go and die. It's in our space. This is our heritage. This is the land our father fought for. And we will not allow anybody, no matter how many acres of land you buy, it is our land. And your land, your purchased land have expired time. Therefore, you cannot claim ownership. So thank you, Madam Majoke, for that.
Sir, let me just quickly say this. I appreciate you, sir, Baba Omega. But we need to be very careful so that we don't play into the hands of the enemies. We are still within the context of Nigeria, and asking for the expulsion of any ethnicities within our space. We can make statements like that, but we need to be very, very careful of the diplomatic consequences of how they are going to twist it. We live in a place where people are naturally very, very manipulative already. So I support that the end should come against the unitary system of government, but the issue of saying any ethnicities must be forced out of our space cannot be. We need to be very careful. You can be accused of terrorism, incitement, or any other thing.
So Yoruba.
Do you understand? They don't represent the majority of the Yoruba land. It's unfortunate, though, that these mofos have pushed these politically sponsored narratives, right? They have pushed it so strongly that people are now kind of like coming out, right? To now point out most of these banters that we used to have, when we were younger, right? That never really bothered anyone, right? So people they are now beginning to bring them out and say, oh, Yorubas have always been like that. They have always been. And somehow, the desperados themselves who are pushing these narratives, okay, that, Igbos must go, specifically the Igbos, which in itself, right, we have found out that they have this personal obsession with them, plus the politically sponsored hatred and others, right? But these guys don't represent the majority of the Yorubas, because in that same space, you are going to hear personal stories of people who say, oh, I grew up in Yoruba land. I'm an Igbo man. I was born in this place and I never experienced so and so. Oh, hang on. Oh, and I remember they used to call me Omo Igbo, but I never really saw that as anything, because we still all sit together, we do things together, we eat together, we sleep in our houses and all that. And there was never a time, like in reality, there was never a time that I felt, unsafe around my Igbo friends or my Yoruba friends. So they've pushed this hatred this much, right? That they just don't know where to stop. Talking about where to stop. In every family in Yoruba land, without exaggerating another, right? You are going to see, at least in every family, you are going to see one ethnic or ethnic nationality or tribe from any part of Nigeria mixed with that family when you check your extended family. So when we kind of like see this display of, madness by this Ronukus per se, trying to make it gel, right? That, oh yeah, they are Yorubas, that's who they are and all that, right? Like I said, they don't know where to stop. They have now pushed this hatred even to the family trees. And that is why I want to know what it is like for those of you who have mixed parentage. You get what I mean? Because you exist. On this platform, there was a time that a viewer called in and was asking this question, and it was a little bit heartbreaking because they see what's going on, right? So she, our dad, right? Our dad is Yoruba. Our mom, I think our mom is Dutch or something like that, no Nigerian at all. Okay, so and she stumbled on this online rage bait kind of like a platform, right? Where they were categorizing who is the full-blooded, who is a tainted blood. And if you have even the word tainted blood, your blood is tainted because your mom or your dad is of another ethnic nationality, right? So this person was like, when Yoruba nation comes, I mean, is there probably going to be a time when some group of people will begin to do what they call the, blood cleansing, where they will say, oh, these are the Aryan race, or what do they call those white special race? They call them Aryan race or something, right? And these ones are just subordinates. They are going to be ours because, and why? So because your mama na Igbo, your mama na Hausa, or your mama is from Trinidad and Tobago, and you're like, are we not supposed to be in the same country with the same right? They said, no, we are not of the same right. So she was kind of concerned that, I was like, no, it is never going to happen. It is unfortunate that, you see, even in what they are pushing, what they call their conservative, Yoruba conservative nonsense that they are pushing, right? You can easily tell, okay, that their own supposed leaders don't give a shit about them. All right? Because when you look at those who are their core, kind of like their core leaders, right, that they tend to really fight for social media, when you see them, right, you realize that those who don't give a shit about them, like they are married to whoever they want, right? And none of these guys dare, right, push that like they are doing of others. So I know that it is the wretched of the society that pushes this kind of hateful narrative and all that, right? But somehow, just somehow, for what we suspect to be is a sponsored one, right? What we suspect to be what the criminal politicians are sponsoring, because it works well, and your election is coming again, okay? Because they've already started the campaign for Tinubu. So they are rejigging this bigotry enough that majority of you who have a mixed parentage, you are going to see it. You're going to be reading different takes on this. And you're going to sit there and be asking yourself and be like, who am I? So share your personal experience on the platform. And the line is quite open, okay? One of, the Yoruba sons, Omo Ko Yoruba, was so pissed. Just looking at all of this, he's so pissed that he made this 90 seconds of video. Watch this.
Real quick, let me talk about this. Yoruba Ronu, your platform, is it to attack the Igbo or to look for the betterment of the Yoruba people? If it is to attack the Igbo, there is no problem. Focus on it. If it is to better the life of the Yorubas, you have work to do. There are plenty other people now. There are plenty places in Yoruba land now that Fulani S-men are taking over. That they are killing people. I never see una they shout Fulani must go. I never see una they shout Fulani must go. Igbo no kill anybody from una land though. Ogun to ma pa yin won ibi tẹ́tí ń ṣe Yoruba ronú tẹ́tí táyé yín má bàjẹ́ mọ́ bíbẹ̀ yẹn. Then number 2. Ṣebí tó ní tó ìṣà ọba lè gbé ní àfinilẹ̀ bó ṣe wà. Tinubu leave us the way we did before. Leave us the way we did before. No do anything for us again. Leave us the way we carry us go back the way we did before. Person will just wake up one day now. They don't attack Osun State. They don't attack Ondo State. They don't attack Benue. They don't attack. Person will wake up for this Lagos State one day. They don't attack them. Waiting they happen. If you know you can't do anything for us, then license gone for us. More they use our hand. They protect ourselves. I be which kind of nonsense be all this one now. Anything no happen for Port Harcourt here, una don't go declare state of emergency. Places where they attack up and down, and no they do anything. And on Kadesh was be one of them must pay kini. Abuk me pa going back on it. Now notice say people they die. The key soldier here, 3 soldiers was shot. Nobody, they never talk anything about them. You don't rush go declare state of emergency for PH. Ogun no back go yin mara yin ni jere.
Àṣẹ. But má ṣe pé mọ́. Èyí ò wí yẹn. Àwọn èyí ò ṣe yẹn. Àrò mọ́. They are not, I have never seen them. Yeah, I have never seen these Ronukus go on their Twitter space and discuss the security lapses in Yoruba land, the killings in Ondo State, Oyo State, Osun State, Ogun State, Ekiti. They killed Obas in Ekiti. This didn't bother them. And like he said, how come we are not hearing Fulani must go? One of them once said, this is where you are going to know that this whole thing is politically sponsored. And I really kind of feel so sorry for those who are caught in the melee. Here you get. And that's why I want to hear from you. If you are of mixed parentage, okay, it doesn't have to be Yoruba Igbo or Yoruba Hausa or whatever. It could be any other mix. It could even be like Igbo and Edo. It could be the Nupes versus, I mean, I don't want to use versus anyway. You know what I mean? Like mixed that way. There are over 500 tribes identified in that space called Nigeria. They even put it better. They said there are over 200 ethnic nationalities in that place. That's like 200 countries. Yeah? So I've had people who have come from other parts of that contraption whose parents mixed up, got married. And somehow there's always that time that they were reminded of who they were. And they were like, I thought I'm a Yoruba man. I said, no, you are not. You which Yoruba is your own? Your mama na tapa. Oh, which Yoruba na your own? You will be saying your mama na Yoruba. You did call yourself Yoruba. Oh, your mama na Igbo. And guess what? Like I said the last time, the Yorubas and the Igbos, right, intermarry more than any other ethnic or tribe, what have you, in that Nigeria on record. Which means we have products of beautiful marriages, which are like beautiful Yoruba Igbo marriages. Here you get. So those who care, this is where, like I said, this is where you're going to know that they don't give a damn about Yoruba land. You see, when they talk about, like, you know, power. You get that now? We must try and make sure that, you know, we remove all this tainted blood from our midst. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like tainted blood. So I'm a tainted blood because here you get now. So this is why I believe that they are not, you know, they're not interested in anything like Yoruba per se. Some of them are also from completely broken homes, you know, unfortunately, right? So somehow, I was watching or following their conversation on Twitter yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday, yeah? Yesterday. And then the day before, on Wednesday. So the tainted blood conversation, because you see, they are all united. The moment you have to say, we are fighting the Igbos. In fact, if you want to prove that to this Ronukus, if you want to prove that you are a genuine Yoruba, you must actually show how much you can hate the Igbos. Don't get me wrong, there are Igbos who also hate Yorubas, and they are also taking advantage of this to actually express that. No doubt. Yeah? So they push this idea of, as long as it is the Igbos, right? We are cool. So if your mama now from Edo State, your papa now from Yoruba land, oh, we are cool. Hello, can I ask a question? Say, yeah, what if my mama is from a Delta and my papa is from Ogbomoso? Yeah, we are cool. We are cool. We're cool. Until 2 days ago. And that won't be the first time. So 2 days ago, somehow, somebody just dropped the bombshell and said everybody who is not of the same, who is not of the same Yoruba parentage, they are tainted blood. They cannot become anything in Yoruba land. The champion of the Ronukus champions, they felt betrayed. They were like, no, I thought we said that if my mama is from Tapa, we are cool. And he said, I asked one of our leaders there, one of our Ronuku bigoted leaders there, that what if your mama is from Port Harcourt? Are you also a tainted? Are you a tainted blood? So does that mean I can't become anything? So does that mean that I'm actually like, I'm supporting what is really against me? Man, it was hilarious. And this was yesterday. So they started tearing themselves apart. Like, no, we cannot say that. It's only these Igbos that are our problem. They are the one coming to take over our land and blah, 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 blah. If we see anybody who is married to Igbo, they must not contest or run for any office in Yoruba land. If they have run for office, we must make sure we remove them. If you see anybody, I'm like, I mean, it kind of like it makes sense, right? When you call them retards, okay? Because normal, if you want to be part of APC, right? You won't need your brain. They say they will take it from you and say you won't need that. They will do all the thinking for you. And just like a mob, right? Just follow the direction. And then we can create scenarios of how much Igbos actually hate us. That too is working. Oh, you see, my uncle. If I tell you the story of my uncle when he traveled to Abakaliki, if you say, well, the Igbos, they are very, very bad. Oh, my brother, he no get brother. He's never been to any Abakaliki. But they can manufacture stories like that. Because from what I gathered, right, during that civil war, they call civil war, genocidal war of 1967 to 1970, right? When the Nigeria government and all of them go on and co, when they are like a dropping bomb and then massacring people in the eastern part of Nigeria. About people in Lagos were doing party every weekend for that 3 years, right? The entire media, the entire space, it was like nothing was happening. This same genocidal war that saw over 5 million civilians killed in Nigeria for that 3 years. In the southern Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria, everybody was living like nothing was going on. So in the news, in the evening, they will say the Nigerian army, they have recaptured Ugeli. And after that, we have pushed the rebels. They call them rebels. And they were feeding them, both in schools, so in the media, they were feeding them stories of how evil the Igbos are, Ojukwu and everybody. For 3 straight years, they built the army of haters against the Igbos. See, this you probably know. And if you don't know this, if you didn't know this, well, now you do. As the bombs were dropping in the eastern Nigeria, they were doing party in Lagos. They were doing party in Kano. Everybody was living fine. So immediately, which means it was like a justified kind of like a genocide. And it was like, okay, yeah, Shebi is against this Igbo. They own too much self. How dare them say they want to fight war with Nigeria when they didn't do, right? So this is what we have on our hands in a situation whereby those who have brought guns, kidnapping people, raping them, and even killing them, including royal fathers, they do not receive the amount of hate, but they receive love from this Ronukus. So it was deliberate. And you see, the moment Tinubu is no longer your president, these guys will fizzle away. What about the damages? What about the real victims who actually sit down? Some of them will watch my broadcast and somehow they will feel a little bit awful and say, thank God somebody is talking about it. Because I remember what happened to me at my aunt's place or at my, paternal uncle's place, who they actually kept reminding you that, you see, if, I don't know if you have heard this. So somebody said, our own uncle, right, was actually telling somebody that they're having a conversation and she was there. And this person was saying, if the war breaks out between the Yorubas and the Igbos now, that it will champion the group that will slaughter all the Igbos in Surulere. And she was there. She was just there, right? Our own she and nephew, I've been able to call up, she and nephew. Your own nephew, I've been at least stayed there with you, right? And you know that she is of a mixed parentage, your own brother and her mom, right? And you are actually, and she said she felt like that can't be sarcasm. Like, is that how much, like, what would you even say they did to you? What would you say? You know, anyway, like I said, the line will be open, okay? I saw a video of a young man who said, it seemed, which is, I don't know, it seemed that the Yorubas and the Hausas, that they have so much kind of like, closeness. So if they love Nigeria this much, because according to him, right, I call them the emergency lovers of Nigeria, the Ronukus. Okay, the Ronukus will tell you that Nigeria must break up, right? If their criminal leader says so, okay, which they say, if they have lost out in any power, the power deals or whatever, they will say, let us break up. And then the moment that they are called to the table or they are in charge, then they will say they love Nigeria, right? So then they will push it to you and say, those of you who are like the Biafrans who want Biafra, right? You are now the enemy of Nigeria. So they are now the lovers of Nigeria, okay? So whenever you now talk about the failure of this leadership of the APC, in the contraption, talk about their failure, you will see the northerner that will come and tell you Nigeria is great. Nigeria is working better. We should continue to pray, maybe. Then you will see the Ronuku Yoruba Konus, right? You will see them too. They will tell you, oh, this country is working. Everything is fine. It's only this Biafra people that says Nigeria is not working. Sure you get. So this guy said, if Nigeria is working for the Hausas and the Yorubas, what about the two of you keep Nigeria? And then maybe Biafra go keep their own Biafra. It was kind of funny, right? But like I said, the Ronukus don't represent Yorubas. They do not represent any ethos of Yoruba land. These are just weather men, right? So most of them are pretty much controlled by the entrenched hatred. Decades of politically motivated tribal hatred. That's what motivates them. They don't love Nigeria. They don't care. None of them really cares about that contraption. It is turn by turn Nigeria Limited. Go take your shot, I take my shot. When it's your turn, Baba, ruin them. Waika. Be wicked. Here you get. It's up to you if you want to come be Mr. Nice. That's up to you. But once it is your turn, Chawu Waika. To them, so they don't love that place. Nobody cares about that contraption because you will never treat what you love like that. You tell me, would you treat something that you love like that? Something that you care about, you care for. No, you won't pillage it like that. You will not loot it that way, and you will not ruin it that way. They don't give a shit about the contraption. They are weathermen. If the weather is warm and they like it, they will tell you that it's the best. If it becomes cold, they move. That's it. So this man has that advice. I don't know if he will probably make use of it.
There are three tribes that are always talking about how great Nigeria is and how we must all stick together. Hausa, Fulani, and Yoruba. I've been on TikTok going on 2 years now, and anytime I'm having a Nigerian conversation, there will always be somebody, either Hausa, Yoruba, or Fulani, talking about how we must all come together and work together. Nigeria is great, the promise of Nigeria. I have never, in my 2 years on this platform, had somebody come from other tribes. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. I have never had an Ibibio man. I've never heard anybody from the South, Niger Delta region, even the Igbos. I've never heard anybody outside Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba talking about how fantastic Nigeria is and how we must all come together and stick together. And now I have a solution to the Hausa, Fulani, and Yoruba people that love Nigeria so much. Why don't you guys keep Nigeria, and then the other tribes, like the Ibibio tribe and the Akwa Ibom states and, Cross River states, Bayelsa states, all the southeastern states, and the north central states, we can be independent from you guys. We can have our own countries, run it the way we want to run it. And you guys, Hausa, Yoruba, Fulani, you guys can keep the Nigeria. Because as somebody from Akwa Ibom State, from the south region, I don't see a future in Nigeria. Because Nigeria does not recognize us. We are recognized only for numbers, but when it's time to now enjoy the benefits of the state, of the country, all of a sudden we don't have the numbers. All of a sudden. So now the solution is, why don't you let the minority tribes, let them go and lead themselves. Back off. They're not valuable to you. Leave them alone. So the Hausa, Fulani, and Yoruba, you guys can stay together and enjoy fantastic Nigeria. Can we agree on that? Because what is the point of Akwa Ibom State being part of Nigeria? I want somebody to tell me. Why can't Akwa Ibom State just be independent? I mean, this has happened in Europe. This has happened across many continents. Smaller states, okay, guys, you want to be by yourself? Okay, be by yourself. End of story. But you cannot force people to stay together, especially when they don't see the benefits of staying together. Like the case of the Niger Delta, like the case of South. For sure, for Akwa Ibom State, Cross River State too. I don't know. Somebody should tell me something, because this is making no sense. There are three tribes that are always talking about.
See, it's unfortunate that the Ronukus have succeeded in trying to make themselves or position themselves as the people that represent the Yorubas. Because it is also the Yorubas who streamed Ebim Power, even though their president is Yoruba. So it doesn't really make any sense. But it does make sense, on the other hand, if we can agree. Because I know that apart from, like I said, apart from this sharing of this space together, as well as sharing the booty together among themselves, not for the generality of us, so to say, right? They don't have anything in common. We don't. Yorubas won't live with this Fulani Hausa the way you are describing it. Those who are claiming to be, those who are now claiming to love Nigeria, they don't. They won't stay with this Fulani Hausa that you are talking about. They won't. You get what I mean? But it is kind of like safe. Okay? They'll say it is safe to pretend to still be one country. And at the same time, right? The Igbos must be inside that country. You know now, the unwritten rule is that when everything is wrong, no, hang on, the Igbos are never to be allowed near the seat of power. We must not make that mistake. They are saying it. They say, we must not make that mistake. They must not make the mistake. Igbo man must never be president of Nigeria. He must not get to power. Blah, 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 like that. So then they got power. They share the power among themselves. And an Igbo man is turned to a spectator. Then things start going bad. When things start going bad, They look among themselves due to their actions, right? They look among themselves and they have nobody to blame. Blame the Igbos. Must be them. It's either they are the ones complaining too much, or they are the ones who are not praising them too much, or they are the ones who are like, just blame it on them. That's the reason why things are not working. And that has been working for this hegemony for a while. So that is why they can't break up. Not now that they are the ones in charge. They can't break up. And that's their reality. Right? So, like I said, sorry I missed somebody's calling earlier. Latu Aruno says that she is a product of mixed parentage. And so is our grandchildren who are also mixed parentage. So if you can share what the experience is like with us, because this one is no longer about I heard they say and all that. Sure, you get. It's got to be your personal experience, and it doesn't have to be about a bloom or what do you call that? Gloom and doom. No, there are those who will tell you that they never experienced any form of discrimination at all from their papa side or from their mama side. They never experienced anything like that. Most of these things they see online is so strange to them, even though what we see online as well are coming from people's personal experiences. Don't forget that, right? Coming from their personal experiences. So you can share yours, right? Talking about this Fulani terrorist, by the way, right? I bring back to you what Danjuma had to say a way back, right? About them.
Some few years ago, I warned that the armed forces are either not capable or unwilling to protect us, and that we must defend ourselves. The first denial of what I said came from the Ministry of Defense. They said I was lying. And they set up a kangaroo board of inquiry to investigate the truth or otherwise of what I spoke. And they invited me to come and testify. I did not go. I did not go. They wrote that report which said that I was only speculating, that there was no evidence. And now there is evidence. The whole country now is being run and overrun. And one very clear thing that is happening is that these foreign invaders, they are not even Muslims. A lot of the casualties inflicted on the land are on Muslims. They are destroying even mosques. But they were allowed to come into the country by our government. Now, as a soldier, my training teaches me that the best defense is attack. Right now, We are all sitting ducks. These people are armed to the teeth with all the weapons of mass destruction, and we don't have them. But we have the numbers, and the land belongs to us. They are trying to recolonize us and take over our land. Can I allow you to defend yourselves? Your Majesty, you heard what they've said. You must then unite our people. A lot of the attacks that I got was from our people. They said I told them to.
That's Danjuma. Danjuma. Theophilus Danjuma happened to be a former defense minister in Nigeria. Is also instrumental to that revenge coup that brought in Gowon and also removed Gowon, by the way. So it was, from record, Theophilus Danjuma that led the team of coupists, right, to Ibadan and demanded for, what's that guy's name again? Aguiyi Ironsi. And when Adekunle Fajuyi, right, from what we heard, won't let, I think it won't let him, or he won't release him or something like, no, it wasn't Fajuyi. What is the name of that Western region administrator? I want to remember his name right now, and I don't. Theophilus Danjuma killed them both, Ironsi as well as his host, you know. So Theophilus Danjuma is from Taraba, I heard, which happened to be the north central of Nigeria today. Theophilus Danjuma has lived long. He has benefited so much, right? He has benefited so much from the system. He is a multi-billionaire. And I mean it in dollars. They are the soldiers of fortune. If you have read that book, he is one of them. The soldiers of fortune. Those who took over Nigeria and then shared Nigeria among themselves, including the Nigerian oil. But today, like in the last 10 years, we have seen the same Danjuma, right, cried out over the endless killing of his own people. There was a time he actually cried out and he accused the Nigerian army of being behind these terrorists. He said they collude. They collude. Every time they come to kill our people, the Nigerian army, they would switch off. And whenever these dastardly acts have been done and the terrorists have gone, and now people are planning to retaliate and go after them, then the Nigerian army will show up and they'll begin to arrest every able-bodied man of such community. And they've done it again and again and again and again, that he openly accused them of colluding. That's a Danjuma. Some will tell you that today it is a karma, you know, especially if you listen to some of these Biafran brothers, right? Because to them it was like, wait, why did they even try to stop the Biafrans from leaving that time? Like, why did they stop them? Did they stop them to be part of this miserable, mismanaged and ruined contraption? Or what exactly? Like, it's not like 100% okay, right? Biafra would have been like, what do you call it? Like maybe Europe, right? But we'll never know because they didn't allow that to happen. So now here is the contraption, the Nigeria, that they forced everybody to stay in by killing over 5 million people. So today, Danjuma had to go everywhere with heavy security. He can't even live in his own state, in his own village. He can't. This is the former, one of the most powerful men in Nigeria. I'm talking about very so powerful that Baba Danjuma. But today, he is now a motivational speaker, a motivational speaker. Wherever he goes, he reminds the people to stand up and fight for themselves. He is a billionaire, but he won't even mobilize these people to fight for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, mobilize them properly because, like, to defend themselves. He won't do it. But right now, he's counting on this contraption to protect his own people. And the contraption has failed. The same contraption that somebody like himself spilled blood to keep together. You know something, right? Himself and Obasanjo. I don't know if it's karma. I don't know if it's... No, it's not karma, but I mean, some will call it karma, right? But I don't know. My feeling was that these guys lived long enough, right, to see the consequences of their selfishness. Because it was out of selfishness that they insisted on keeping this contraption together then, right? Obasanjo was even treating Nigeria like Nigeria was his baby, like he is the father. And he understands the baby so well, right? That, that's how they are. So they have lived long enough. Just hope they live long enough to see the entire place break up into pieces. Because I do ask myself, I'm like, why should anybody keep us in this contraption, right? I mean, if we are reading for example, let's say, we are reading the history of this Nigeria now, right? And the history says, there was a time things were so bad. The tribes were so divided. The leaders were so corrupt. Institutions were so compromised. I mean, everything was just like not working to the point that they even fought a civil war. But look at you generation that were born in the 70s, in the 80s, 90s, and now you're so lucky. Your ancestors, they fought for a country that now treats you like a citizen. Imagine that. Like you do read the history of the Americans, Abi, the American Civil War, and several other wars they fought among themselves, like they fought until almost like the last person standing. And then after that, they started respecting themselves when they put together the Treaty of, the Treaty of Union or whatever, to bring themselves together and become the United States, right? The South and the North. So today, it's not perfect. But guess what? They've made so much progress enough that you can say the generation being born into America today are being considered as, the luckiest and the softest, which are now sort of ruining everything as well. I'm just saying, if Nigeria has such history, why would anybody, or why can't Nigeria have such history? Because it was never made to work. It was never to work. It's like going to buy a land, right? And I'm talking about hectares of land, okay, where you intend to probably farm, right? And then, you started farming. It's just for commercial purpose, for profits and all that. Then you discovered a gold mine and that's a land, and you become a gold miner as well. Or maybe you discover crude oil, right? And you decided to become a oil magnate as well. So in the whole thing, it's all for profit. Everything is coming together, in your favor, right? Then you decided to probably because all these things are popping up, you decided to have labor camp. And you see the owners of the land that you didn't even buy the land, and you take it from them, and then you force them to work for you. They work in your mine, they work in your oil field, and they also work on your farm. So if somebody comes later and say, this farm should be like London, you'll be like, no, what do you mean London? It's just a farm, it's just for commercial purpose. Why would I want to spend so much money in installing facilities like that here? You get that now? That's exactly what Nigeria is to their colonizers and to their foremen, those who are currently representing them. That's what Nigeria is. So keeping it together for who and why? You know, these are the questions I will ask if I have a chance of meeting that Obang Paro and even Danjuma. So you did all of that. What were you thinking? It's because you probably saw an opportunity to enrich yourself, enrich your your generations, even yet unborn and all that. And then you pretended to make that what? Patriotism? To entrap everyone to this day where in a country where we can no longer be protected? Like, these are the questions I will ask, and I will be like, so hang on. If you have a chance of breaking up this contraption today, would you do it, or you still want to keep it? Because they will say they will keep it, or they will want to keep it. Because keeping it means that, like Obasanjo that has land almost everywhere, all the 36 states of Nigeria, all the 6 geopolitical zones. So we lose all those lands, right? When Nigeria break up. Same with this Danjuma, because he is the same. But these guys shared Nigeria to themselves. This Steve Numbu and his gang, they are just like the mix of old and new takers. Nigeria is just for the take. And whoever can, right, rob it, loot it, desecrate it, abuse the inhabitants, treat them like a piece of shit, and even kill them. It's your turn. They will forget soon. They will remember you as elder statesman, as they call those mofos elder statesmen as well, right? So back to the main conversation, okay? Like I said, we talk more, to end the bigotry as well as to possibly, nip it in the bud forever, right? Is by talking about it, calling out those who are weaponizing it. It used to be something of pride, say, man, your bride is from, or your groom is from. Oh, that's amazing. But what they have done these days is that they have managed to plant serious divisive, stuff in the atmosphere. And I would love to hear from those who are the direct products of intertribal. And this is also applicable to you, to those of you who are married to maybe Americans or Caribbeans or Europeans, Asians or Arabians, name it, even Russians, okay? Because the what do you call it? The agenda, okay, is which is what they are doing, to amplify their inferiority complex, which is kind of like the foundation of it, all right? Inferiority complex, which makes them feel like they are not enough. And the only way to validate themselves is to just kind of like leverage on what they call blood. Oh, my mama and my papa, they are Yorubas. You get that now? And I'm better than you because your own mama na Igbo, your papa na Yoruba, so you are tainted blood. So it is oozing of inferiority complex, and that does not represent the Yorubas that we all know. I am a Yoruba, you know that. A very proud one, though. Very, very proud one, right? I am not someone with this fragile ego or a snowflake, the one that thinks that social media trolling, right, could get into his skin so much that it could become a nuisance on social media in the name of I am defending my tribe, when you are not. Because you are a disgrace to that tribe, by the way. You are. You can't be an ambassador of Yoruba with so much hatred in your heart and you call that that's what you have to offer, right? And you are not even honest with that. You are also pretty much an hypocrite too, right? Because if anybody who is not from blooded Yoruba is also among you, Isn't that self-destructive, right? Like self-injurious. You are shouting up and down, Yoruba, 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 this and that. Atrocities that are being committed in Yoruba land, which includes terrorism, kidnapping, and all that, right? All those, they don't move you, but you're just interested in people who own, shopping malls, retail outlets, and all of that. And somehow, they are more dangerous. Here you get to the point that, without thinking, you decided to create a means of, kind of like, and that's very criminal, though, right? Like you created this hatred, right? You created this caste system, and it hurts so much whenever we kind of like exposes you that this has nothing to do with Yoruba, because majority of you don't give a damn about Yoruba per se. So your inferiority complexes is so using out that, and you're so loud enough that you bastards, right? You have almost convinced everyone that this is who the Yorubas are, when it is not. That's not who we are, Sorry if your I keep missing this individual. So if the line is pretty much hard for you to get through, if you ever tried it and it's not, you can let me know in the comments. So maybe I'll do something about that. So again, right? For those of you who have also experienced any form of discrimination, simply because of where you come from, because we can decide to say we don't want these so people in our country. No, we can't really do that, but okay, fine. Even if when I say we now, I'm talking about the kind of rogues or criminals in charge of the contraption that will likely push any form of, agenda to, So it's unfortunate though, anyway. So if you have been discriminated against, in any way, and mind you, like I said, you can say leave our country. However, you can't say that when you are still part of this contraption. You can't tell people to leave. No, you can't. You can only say that. You can only say that if you have your own country, something that is no longer appealing to the Ronukus as we speak. Because if we say we should break up Nigeria, if they should agree with us to break up the contraption, that means Tinubu won't be president. And Tinubu being president is the reason why this bigotry, this ethnic, trolling and baiting are very much rife on social media. So, if you want a country where there will be no Igbos or no particular kind of tribe, right? Then you would have to push for the breakup of the contraption. Break it up. Right? And then issue visas to those who are going to visit your country. What are you going to do to those who have mixed parentage, by the way? And that in itself is the reason why the right people should be interested when it comes to leadership sort of stuff. It's unfortunate that they have so much compromised system that has discouraged a lot of, good thinking, mindful people to seek political office and do the right thing, right? So this system has become so compromised, right, that good people have to stay away. Nobody want to be. That's why you have the worst of the worst currently representing them. And of course, doing the worst that you can think of, the worst of the society. So, the good people, I'm talking about people with the right mindset, would have to venture into the arena, you have to take up the leadership mantle when the clarion call is made, right? Yoruba land is gearing towards a breakup, their own independence, right? So the characters of people that are going to really push that will determine if we are going into a xenophobic country or a very much progressive country, as progressive people, which Yorubas are known for. For centuries, by the way, it's unfortunate that a druggie, a certificate forger, somebody who has no real heritage or whatever it is that you can trace to him, right, has managed to garner enough miscreants, never do wells, sewage dwellers, the bottom barrels, the voluntary slaves, the humbled slaves, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the ass lickers, the all risers. I'm talking about the bad idiots, the bad starts. Somebody like that has managed to gather them, and now they are working so hard to make themselves the face of this Yoruba land. So the right-minded people can't continue to look away or get bullied or gaslighted away. So that is why, to those of you who are kind of like concerned, like, hey, man, so if we have a Yoruba nation now, is this how these kind of people that are going to be in charge of the place? Well, me, I don't want a Yoruba nation. So if we have Yoruba nation now, the likes of Tifnumbu, the likes of Gbewiri Daniel, and people like that, they are going to be the leaders of. Me, I don't want to. The reason why they can't or they won't is when the right-minded people actually show the interest in the leadership. I'm not asking you to go and join their politics now, because that in itself, right, is like a feeding the meat grinder, kind of like dead your character, become, bring out the wickedness in you, the evil in you, then you'll fit in, or else they would have to sacrifice you in the long run, because you're going to be a cog in their wheel. You get what I mean? That is a rotten system. But when we mount pressure enough that we replace these miscreants, pretending to be representing Yoruba land, fumigate these sewage dwellers, these ethnic bigots, these tribal betas, these trolls, who are doing everything enough to destroy family value, family chains, and all of those heritages that we used to be so proud of. Call them extended family. Do you know what that means? This means that you are accommodating other members of other families to build a larger family. But that's what they are ruining. Bastards who have no real clear, defined parentage. They are defining family on social media. They are pushing it enough that the right-minded people are either just like too principled to get involved, or they are just too scared to be involved. Either of the two. So on Maiyegun's Diary Political, every afternoon, we are going to be having conversations like this, in which experience does matter. Okay, like you don't tell someone else's story. You tell your story. What has been your own personal experience, including the good ones? Because I don't want to believe that it's all negative, because I come from a family, right, that we are so extended, we are so kind of like big, from my mom's side, from my dad's side. And in all, I can just like randomly just speak about 2 or 3 members of my family who got married into my family from other tribes or other ethnic nationalities. And there was never a time, I was too young to understand, though, right? But there was never a time within that family circle that I suspected anybody being discriminated against simply because they are not Yorubas or whatever. Never. So there are people who grew up that way, but I am not of mixed parentage. So I may never be in the best position to say, oh, let me give a statement, or let me give opinion. Do you get that now? So, but when you are of a mixed parentage, you are watching all these kind of rhetorics and this conversation around, right? There are some of us who can handle it all. Don't get me wrong. There are some of us who believe that, well, it's all politics, Jerry. You know, I mean, it won't really get to me. Now, this may not be for you. You see, those who have actually been discriminated against, you know, you walk into a place. Hang on. Yeah, you walk into a house. You're a member of your family, right? You walk in. And then everybody just stop talking. Now that, don't get me wrong, that can happen in any kind of circumstance, okay? It doesn't have to be because you are of mixed parentage. But I'm talking about when you walk in and then you realize that everybody stopped talking, right? Fine. And then they started making passes at you to make you look like you are the odd one in their midst. So that must feel somehow, you know? Or those who have actually told you to your face, you this Omoibo. And you're like, why are you calling me Omoibo? Right? My name is Adeyemi Adeola Edmond Oguntuashe. So the Edmond, as well as Ifeanyi, which was given to me by my mom, because my mom is Igbo, right? He said, right. So why are you talking to me like that? Why are you calling me Omoibo? Because they want to keep reminding you that your mama na Igbo and your papa be Yoruba, so you are not fully one. So people who have experienced this can share theirs. And there are those that will be like, no, I want to hear. I could be very much, you know, I could be having problem with my line. Okay, so if the line is not letting you call in, right? Well, I can keep you sort of like, you know, busy, keep giving you instances, and when the time is up, we can call it the afternoon. Okay, so I'll take a short break, and I will be back in a minute or two.
Not in one occasion, 2, 3, 4 occasions. And today, we say succumb in compliance with this social directive of court that should be discharged and applied. They should be released. So, and 12 has been released. So we are still following up to ensure that the remaining ones who are still in custody are released. So that I can assure you of that, because they've been discharged of all the frivolous charges against them, leveled against them by the state. So, and I do not think they have any reason to stay kept detained here. They'll be out soon. Thank you, and thank God for the grace for them to see this day. At least they are free persons today. Yes. They are free. And I thank God for their freedom. You can see they are smiling. They are happy. Thank you.
Please, madam, what do you have to say about it?
I want to say a very big congratulations to them. It is not easy to be in the correctional center for over 5 years. It is not easy. And thank God that today, finally, the state was able to say that 12 of them should go home. And we are very much grateful. And we will not stop until we see that each and every one of them are released.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please, can one of you people tell us why?
We thank God today by releasing us.
You mustn't speak English.
So Igbo, kwi wonyi Igbo.
I can let you cook that.
So
I can let you cook that. By a job, either release in Ebony State for 4 years. I know that this prison. So I know can let you cook that. Because you come here and you want to make a ending for that.
Because when we keep my candy care for our phone, I went to the overall deny. But now,
this child go have with your house. Matter of fact, who's everybody's away. Some are anyone from now. I got no question to air. Some when did it? Yeah. So you see the guy goes on, yeah? Thank you. I
want to say we are happy that my children is
Thank you.
Something about that place as well, right? So those were the IPOB members that were illegally kidnapped, then locked up, imprisoned, denied legal representation until this year. 5 years ago, they've been locked up, transferred to God knows how many of those prisons. And what is the offense? The offense was that they are asking for a democratic referendum to decide if the Igbos are still going to be part of Nigeria or they will have their own country. It is democratic. There is nothing wrong in that. Those who are interested in staying in Nigeria, they will vote no to Biafra. Those who wanted to leave Nigeria, they will vote yes. If more people vote no, the Igbos will remain in Nigeria. That's the process. If more people voted yes, good, the Biafra will become Nigeria's neighbor. That is also democratic. But rather, the Nigerian criminals, the murderous Fulani terrorists, Bokwari, decided to criminalize self-determination campaign. And they've been picking up every young man, woman that they could see that could enter their nets, and they have been locking them up. And you know something, right? They won't allow them to go to court. But every now and then that they appear before a judge, they always throw out the case. You get me? Like, you lock people up for like years. The last time they took about 107 women and girls from Imo State, Anambra State, and Rivers State, Obibo. 107. And they locked them up from Imo, Rivers, Anambra. They took them to Suleja in Niger State. And they locked them up there. They forgot them there. Nobody cares where they were. So when their lawyers was to kind of like push their case before a court, they said, did you know where they were? The lawyer said they didn't know. They asked the police, they said they didn't know. They asked the DSS, they said they didn't know. So they started doing prison to prison search. So it took them almost 18 months, 1 year, 6 months before they found them in Suleja in Niger State. The first day they appeared before a court in Abuja, the court freed all of them. Because there was no evidence to actually charge them for anything. No real evidence, no nothing. They just pick them up and say, oh, you're IPOB, you're IPOB, you're here, so yeah, enter car. And those are the lucky ones. Those unlucky ones have been killed, gone down in an extrajudicial, evil way. So those ones who have been locked up for 5 years. And the allegation was that the IPOB members. You know? But that's them anyway. They've been discharged, acquitted. Their court says they've done nothing wrong. You know? So Bokwari and his gang that abused their power, which is what the contraption does anyway. So they've abused their power, they've gotten away with it. Tifnubu is doing his own right now. It's going to get away with it as well. But it is the aftermath. Look at it today. The Fulani terrorists, when they were reigning supreme during the height of Bokwari's power, as they were giving them money, they were also trying to change the law of the land, to allocate lands for them so that they could have their own local government areas in the heartland of Igbo land, Yoruba land, which is an aberration. It is an abomination. But because Bokwari felt so powerful, he pushed it. It was to take over all our waterways and give it to this Fulani terrorist around the time. But we kept reminding them that, listen, this whole thing is going to boomerang. And when it does, Bokwari won't be in power. Because the indigenous people that these Fulani terrorists are killing, one day, there will be, there's likely going to be a Moses who doesn't know a Pharaoh. I mean, how did they talk about Pharaoh? We don't know Moses. Okay, Moses, we don't know Pharaoh. So whereby to be a Fulani person in Nigeria will kind of be like a taboo. No matter how rich some of them have become or how powerful they think they have. I just gave you an example of a Danjuma there. Danjuma. To Dajupa. Today, Danjuma has joined the whalers, calling on the government to please protect the people. His own people. He can't even protect them anymore. It doesn't. I'm talking about defense minister. It wasn't just any other person. A defense minister today is screaming about just like a retired vigilante kind of. So a day is also coming, yeah, whereby the table will turn. So it's unfortunate that the camera won't pick up on the people responsible themselves. Okay, so those who are pushing the hatred because of Tinubu right now, and to them they are doing the right thing, because I read it somewhere where one of them said, we must not agree, we must not agree for them. We must not agree for them. You see all that thing where these Igbo people tried with Bokwari, you see, we cannot let them try it with us, the Yorubas. You know, they were always abusing the Fulanis. They are always abusing them for doing it throughout the Bokwari time. They are always like attacking this and that. So we must not allow that. We must give it to them fire for fire. We must, I've seen that on social media. This Ronukus, like it is a clarion call for them. I'm gonna. Where am I getting this call? 788. I'll be back in a minute. I saw a lady's rant. Hang on. I'm going to be back in a minute. Let me take this call, okay? Please don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a minute or two.
70 years old man. Jesus is Lord. Continue. 70 years old man. Jesus is Lord. Continue.
Shock you. All right. Anyway, so as I was saying, right? So those who are now saying that they are fighting for Tinubu because he's a Yoruba, and therefore they can create all forms of all kind of animosities, division, and name it. We won't let you succeed, okay? Because the atrocities of Bokwari was defended by you mofos as well. So I remember before you metamorphosed into this your Ronuku gang, you were pretty much the same Buhari Deans, Buhari Diderins. You know, the Buhari Dinotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shukus, the Unguziaris, the Unegaris, you know. You've always been that. And you've also been victims of the same failed contraption. But because you, like others, like the way they see others as well, right? So the Ronukus are just numbers, you know. They are replaceable. They are disposable. And I think that's how they treat the rest of the contraption as well. Like Nigerians, and they are just numbers, John. Just number. Nigeria is just number. So you get. So we need to care for our children. We need to care for we need to care for ourselves. We need to care for our children. We need to care for the society we are also creating as well. Okay. So the hatred they are spreading, the only way to kind of destroy it is to keep awareness up, right? And when I say awareness, I mean don't brush it aside. Don't live in denial. Don't say, "Oh, I never saw it that way. No, that wasn't a big thing. Oh, I didn't know that that's something like that is a serious thing." So programs like this will continue to possibly, right, shed light on the discrimination that comes with politically sponsored tribalism, ethnicism, religionism, classism, and all the themes that you can think of, which are in itself anti-people, discriminatory, sort of, okay? So, I think the line is not going to let us have a chat this afternoon. I've actually spoken for nearly 90 minutes, which is impressive, right? I speak longer than that. I do. So it would have been more kind of like, flow well, interactive, if the line was better. So I think something is wrong with the line. So it was so warm here that I had to go and put on another shirt. In case if you're wondering what happened earlier, it was so warm that I was like sweating, but now it's better now. It's kind of like out now. So yeah, to answer your question, this viewer that asked if I would be coming on later this evening, the answer is yes. Because part of our conversation this evening, borders on the actions and the inactions of those of Tifnumbu's illegitimate regime and those around the same Tifnumbu, okay, in further messing up of this your pseudo-democracy. And then, like it counts down, waiting for the implosion time. When is it going to like go boom, like that? So their actions and inactions will lead to all of that. And it's great to actually keep record. It's great to keep record of these actions so that when this finally happens, right, people won't be like, how did we get here? How did this even happen? So where have you been? It's been happening all this while. This is just zenith. This is when things get to the head. And yeah, you'd have to live with the consequences. Yeah, I've said my own, I've predicted mine that the implosion that Nigeria will suffer, right, it's going to be like a bottled frustration. You bottled your frustration so much, and it's just a little thing that would trigger something that would then trigger something again that will lead to a cataclysm or something. It's called cataclysm. You get? So that is this blast that, and those that will survive it will never remain the same. A kind of blast that brings to the end the old ways of doing things and then kickstart the new way of how to do things, So that's what Maiyegun's Diary Political does. And this morning or this afternoon, I have shared with us again, the inner thoughts of some of us, in which some people have decided, they have been acting on it. Something that has brought us so much disrepute to the name of the Yoruba people, the Ronukus, who are much like defending their own druggie, but in this case, they just have to make the druggie look like it's Yoruba, and therefore the druggie represents Yoruba when it doesn't, and they know that. So when they call people tainted blood, that is the worst slur word ever. And this is not coming from people from outside your tribe. It's coming from people within for political reasons. And they have been so serious, like they are beginning to believe their own shenanigans, like they are beginning to believe their own stupidity. And that's dangerous. It is dangerous to say, if your mama na this and your papa na Yoruba, you are a tainted blood, So the story I was sharing with you earlier about one of them yesterday, in fact, it's not one of them, it's about 4 of them, okay? One of them is Mama is from Takpa. His father is from Ogbomoso. So he's been at the forefront of calling the Igbos names and threatening, doing all of that nonsense because they made him believe that his own mama coming from Takpa is not a problem like Igbo. So until they reminded him yesterday, I said, everybody whose mama or papa no be Yoruba is a tainted blood. And that kind of hits them so hard. They are now having they are now demanding for proper explanation of tainted blood. They say, sorry, is that true? So you are a tainted, you are a tainted blood. And the person will be like, no, I'm not a tainted blood. What do you mean? My mama is Fulani. My mama is Takpa. My mama is from Nope. Oh, my mama is BBO. My mama is this other. Say, you are a tainted blood. Say, no, I'm not a tainted. Say, you are a tainted blood. Say, but I thought it's only the Igbos that are tainted. Say, no, all of you are tainted blood. Say, how can we know? We need to redefine this thing. Oh, we cannot call ourselves. Say, you see? Do you see? This is what politically sponsored hatred does. It blinds you. You are so stupid, right? To push an agenda which is to undermine yourself. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage, it's called. So we can't let them, right, get to these our children, because our children would have to live in this world. And some miscreants, right? Some political jobbers, sewage dwellers, sort of, I call them bottom barrel. Some of them have no true family experience. Broken homes, you know, describe it. Troubled their childhood, abandonment, they feeling like they were never, nobody loved them. The world hates them, so they hate the world as well. These are the never do wells, because even Tifnumbu self had to deny his own parents. Yeah, he had to deny his own parents. Who does that? Even if you are adopted, you do have birth parents, right? Even if you are adopted, you will still want to know your birth parents, won't you? Abibatu Mogajida adopted him from one, baby homes in Ibadan. So back as 19 clothing pay. It wasn't even a baby home himself. And my dad don't grow it that time before they finally said somebody, a market trader, a trader from Lagos, was looking for just a boy to adopt. And they brought this younger mother, Shongo Dele. They brought him. It was about 12. He was older. It wasn't a baby, you know? So Koolu doesn't know his own parents, or he doesn't give a shit, or he disowned them. I don't know. It's like he never wanted them. His own birth mother, Abibatu Mogaji, is not his birth mother. You get that? So these people from these broken homes, they are the ones who are spreading. They are never loved. They are never loved. And guess what? It doesn't even matter how successful they look in life. It always tells. Some of them live abroad. For real. When you look at all these damaged individuals pushing these narratives on social media, damaged in the sense that when you look at them, some of them are not living in Nigeria. They live abroad where the supposed racism kind of like is a big thing, right? And they see themselves as potential victims of racism. They scream loudest whenever they are discriminated against. But they are also the ardent promoter of this ideology, this idea. You get that now? So these people who have no love for themselves, they don't think anybody loved them. They just, and you see, somehow, when they found themselves, they feel like family. You know what I mean? And you see some of them that will tell you that, I don't know what is wrong with my family members. They will not become Yoruba first. They won't even support Tinubu. They won't shake and say, oh, I get that. So the reason why your family members have become whatever you want to call them is because they won't support Tinubu Abi. Hey now, which Yoruba person, every Yoruba person, they want to go and support Igbo. See? So I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot. You get me now? So when you look at all of them, these are the worst of the worst that you can see from Yoruba land. They don't give a shit about Yoruba land. They don't. Not our people, not our prosperity, not our safety, nothing. They don't give a damn. What really matter is, as long as somebody like a Tifnumbu, and those around him, right, can possibly recognize them, because they too crave recognition as well, right? Craving recognition means the moment they get a bit of a reply from any of these Tifnumbu's soldiers, right? They feel like they have become initiated and now belong. I'm fighting for Yoruba. I'm fighting for Yoruba. No, you're fighting for Tifnumbu. And you're not even fighting. You are just you're just fooling for Koolu. But unfortunately, you have a lot of people who are fooling at the same time. So you then think it is actually what is in vogue, but it is not. So people need to speak their truth. We can shut them up. We can shut them out. And we all know that they are all weather men as well. Okay? Meaning, if they are not paid to do some certain things, that thing won't actually have a good run. And even when they are paid, right, they still have to be told what and what to push. So those of you who are of a mixed parentage, you can phone in and, what do you call it? You can phone in and be anonymous. It's just your personal experience, okay? Sharing that will be wonderful for those, especially for those who are experiencing the same as we speak, because there are those who are still experiencing the same as we speak. So they need to know that they are not alone. And in fact, as Yorubas, we do not discriminate against you. If you have any member of your family who is somehow, right, pushing this kind of, this sort of divisive rhetoric, right, and they are pointing at you or making you, or should I say trolling you to make you feel so bad about yourself and your heritage, share it. And when you share yours, right, others in the same position, the same situation, likely learn. And that's my own opinion. Okay. So we do have a problem with the line this afternoon. So that is why we are unable to take any call. So hopefully another time, right, we shall have that shot. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I will see you later this evening, where I am coming with other loaded primetime stuff, right? Good afternoon.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Maiyegun Diary politico. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.